erythema and edema of anterior abdominal wall, late feature. Mortality is 20%. Investigations 3/4. Plain X-ray abdomen. Linear gas shadow in bowel wall, free intraperitoneal air implies perforation. 3/4. Blood examination, leukocytosis, anemia, hyperkalemia, metabolic acidosis. B complications XX stricture, small bowel, XX perforation, peritonitis, XX colonic stricture can develop lately after healing of ischemic area. It is seen in 10% of cases. Management. Medical therapy 3/4. Nasogastric aspiration. 3/4 broad spectrum IV antibiotics. 3/4 TERAPETANEWTON for 10 to 14 days. 3/4 oxygen supplement is required. Surgery indications: pneumoperitoneum, and abdominal mass, dilated intestinal loops. Procedures done: bowel necrosis and perforation, resection with stoma. Localized disease, resection and primary anastomosis. Complication: extensive bowel resection, short bowel syndrome. Small bowel tumors. They are rare neoplasms, 3% of all GI tumors, even though 80% total length and 90% of mucosal surface area of the GIT is small bowel. Common in elderly men. Common in New Zealand and Hawaii. It can be benign or malignant. Early diagnosis is difficult. Presentations are vague initially. Reasons why malignancy is uncommon in the small bowel, even though it comprises 75% of length and 90% of GI mucosa: rapid transit time, 30 minutes to 2 hours. So exposure of mucosa to toxins and metabolites is less. Alkaline mucus-rich luminal content is protective. Cells of small bowel produce the enzyme benzopyrene hydroxylase, which detoxifies the carcinogen, benzopyrone. High levels luminal agar provides immunity. Plenty of lymphoid tissue in the wall provides immunity. Healthy small bowel has got less bacterial load and so their toxic metabolites, as compared to colon. Risk factors implicated are XX bile acids and their metabolites, XX post-cholecystectomy status, XX familial adenomatous polyposis, FAP, especially with duodenal adenomas, has got very high chance of developing adenocarcinoma. XX Crohn's disease has got 100 times increase in incidence of adenocarcinoma. XX celiac disease increases the risk of lymphoma. XX Peutz-Jeghers syndrome has got increased risk of small bowel adenocarcinoma. Patients with chronic immunosuppression have very high risk of developing NHL, PTLD, post-transplant lymphoproliferative disorder, HIV, or sarcoma. XX patient with von Recklinghausen's disease of neurofibromatosis is prone to develop GI neurofibroma or neurofibrosarcoma. XX smoking, red meat, alcohol, salt food. Presentations: asymptomatic initially. Features of obstruction, intussusception, bleeding. Vague abdominal discomfort. Investigations: often it is very difficult to assess small bowel. It may be on table finding during surgery, while presenting as complication like obstruction. Small bowel enteroclysis. CT abdomen is better investigation to assess bowel, nodes, organs. CT enteroclysis shows 90% accuracy. Video capsule endoscopy enables to visualize small bowel mucosa properly. CT angiography is useful in identifying vascular tumors. Enteroscopes, push-type or sonde-pull enteroscopes, are technically difficult. Intraoperative enteroscopes are useful. Benign tumors of small bowel. Benign tumors of small bowel are 50% of primary small bowel tumors. Adenoma can be potentially malignant. Types: leiomyoma or GIST. It is the most common symptomatic benign tumor of small bowel. It arises from interstitial cell of Kajal. It can be spindle cell type, 70%, or epithelioid type. Commonly they are benign in small bowel. GIST express CD117, 90%, the c-KIT proto-oncogene protein membrane receptor for stem cell growth factor, and CD34, 80%, a human progenitor cell antigen. Adenomas AB, FIGS, 21.23 A and B, jejunal tumor coming out of serosa. Presentations, asymptomatic initially. It is 15% of all benign small bowel tumors. 50% are in ileum, 30% in jejunum, 20% in duodenum. Commonly single but can be multiple when familial or associated with FAP. Commonly presents as bleeding and obstruction. Adenomas can be Brunner gland adenoma 3/4. It occurs as benign hyperplastic tumor in proximal duodenal submucosa which secretes alkaline bicarbonate-rich fluid. 3/4. Bleeding is the usual problem. It is treated by endoscopic resection. It never turns into malignancy. Willis adenoma 3/4. It can occur anywhere in small bowel presenting as intestinal obstruction or hemorrhage. 3/4. 3/4. But commonly seen in periumpulary region presenting as obstructive jaundice, upper abdominal pain. Size more than 3 cm can lead into adenocarcinoma with an adenoma-carcinoma sequence. EUS is ideal tool to assess size and depth. ERCP is done to relieve obstruction, to biopsy and to remove if it is small in size. Malignant potentiality is very high, 50%. Transduodenal excision, pancreaticoduodenectomy are the surgical options. Small bowel adenomas are treated by resection. True adenomas 3/4. It can be tubular or tubulovillous. 3/4. It is usually single. Endoscopic excision is the treatment. Resection, pancreaticoduodenectomy is done if there is invasive lesion. Familial adenomas. It is associated with FAP with 5% risk for adenocarcinoma in duodenum. 3/4. It is diffuse throughout the duodenum. Spigelman classification is used for assessment of FAP-related duodenal adenomas. Willis adenomas larger. Then 3 cm. Of suspicious lesions identified on endoscopy are biopsied. Screening endoscopy to be done every year. Endoscopic or open polypectomy, argon beam or photodynamic therapy is tried in benign lesions. Pancreaticoduodenectomy is done in high-grade carcinoma in situ, Spigelman IV classification. Lipoma. It mainly causes intussusception. It is common in elderly men. It is usually single intramural submucosal lesion. Lipoma does not have malignant potential. Peutz-Jeghers syndrome autosomal dominant condition with melanotic pigment patches and Guy polyps. Brown-black pigments of 1-2 mm diameter in circumoral face, cheek, forearms, palms, soles, digits, perianal region. Hamartomas are located in entire jejunum and ileum, 50% of colorectum, 25% of stomach. Intussusception, bleeding, anemia, presentations. Cancer of small intestine, stomach, pancreas, ovary, lung, uterus and breast can occur. Cure is not possible. Segment which is causing complication is resected. Hemangioma. It is 4% of all small bowel benign tumors. They are multiple in 60% of patients. They are usually submucosal abnormal proliferative vessels. Jejunum is the commonest site. They are often seen in association with Osler-Weber-Rendu disease, Turner syndrome. It presents as small bowel bleed. It can be diagnosed by angiography, 99 mTC RBC scanning or capsule endoscopy. Treatment: endoscopic sclerotherapy or angiographic embolization or resection of bowel segment. General features: they cause hemorrhage, colicky pain, and intussusception. Diagnosis is by suspicion. Small bowel enema, capsule endoscopy, radioisotope study, CT scan or MRI may help in identifying the disease. Laparoscopy and PRECEDE may be useful. Commonly it is on-table finding during exploration for acute presentations. Adenomas are potentially malignant depending on the size, greater than 3 cm. Treatment: it depends on type, number, nature, size of the tumor. Resection and anastomosis cures the condition. Surgery is not done for Peutz-Jeghers syndrome unless it presents with complications. Malignant tumors of small bowel 1. Adenocarcinoma. Its incidence is 40% of small bowel tumors. It is most common primary malignant small bowel tumor. In 80% cases it is in the duodenum and jejunum. FAP, adenoma, Crohn's, celiac diseases are the causes. Adenocarcinoma in Crohn's disease occurs in younger age group and commonly in ileum, 70%. Non-specific features: anorexia, crampy pain abdomen, bleeding and diarrhea, obstruction or features of metastases, liver. CT scan, capsule endoscopy are the investigations. TNM system is used for staging. Nodal spread is the important prognostic factor. Surgical resection is the choice of therapy. Pancreaticoduodenectomy is done for duodenal tumor. For ileal, jejunal site tumors, radical resection with 10 cm margin with adjacent mesenteric clearance is done. Adenocarcinoma of terminal ileum is treated with right hemicolectomy. RT and chemotherapy are less beneficial. It carries a poor prognosis. 2. Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, NHL, 25%. GI is the commonest extranodal site of NHL, 20%, with small bowel, primary intestinal NHL, as second common site, 30%. For extranodal site of NHL, first common site is stomach, 60%. Lymphadenopathy, mediastinal lymph node enlargement are absent. Normal spleen, liver, blood peripheral smear are observed. B cell type is the commonest type, 75%. It is common in ileum. T cell type, 25%, carries poor prognosis. Presentations are malabsorption, obstruction, perforation, hemorrhage or palpable mass. In children, lymphomas are the most common intestinal neoplasm. 25% of patients develop perforation. Fever when present suggests systemic spread. CT scan with CT-guided biopsy or laparoscopic biopsy is needed. Surgical resection and chemotherapy are the treatment. Prognosis is poor. 3. Carcinoid tumor, 30%. 4. GIST, gastrointestinal stromal tumor. It is rare but most common non-epithelial small bowel tumors. 25% of GIST occurs in small bowel, stomach, 50 to 60%. It is 0.2% of all GI tumors. It is equal in both sexes. It arises from interstitial cell of Kajal. More than 95% show c-KIT, transmembrane receptor tyrosine kinase, mutation. Fig. 21.27. Jejunal adenocarcinoma presenting a stricture with features of proximal small bowel obstruction. 2. Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, NHL, 25%. GI is the commonest extranodal site of NHL, 20%, with small bowel, primary intestinal NHL, as second common site, 30%, for extranodal site of NHL, first common site is stomach, 60%. Many mesenchymal tumors of small bowel are now classified as GIST. GIST attains massive size when presenting clinically. Palpable mass, compression, hemorrhage are the features, has less affinity for lymphatics. CT is diagnostic. Histochemistry and tumor markers are needed. GIST can be low risk or high risk group based on tumor size and mitotic index. Surgical wide resection is the treatment. Imatinib mesylate, a KIT kinase inhibitor, is used successfully. SU11248 with similar effect is also used. 5. Liposarcoma and myxoliposarcoma. 6. Secondaries in small bowel, they are very rare. If it is present, primary being commonly melanoma. Malignant tumors of small bowel XX adenocarcinoma is commonest, 40%. Order of occurrence, duodenum, jejunum and ileum. XX GIST is new entity comprising smooth muscle tumors. Also XX carcinoid and lymphoma has got better prognosis. XX adenocarcinoma and GIST has got poor prognosis. XX presentations are pain, diarrhea, weight loss, anemia, melena, palpable mass, intestinal obstruction and metastatic features. XX bleeding and perforation are common in lymphoma and sarcoma. XX enteroclysis, capsule endoscopy, CT scan, histochemistry are needed to diagnose. XX surgery is the main therapy. XX imatinib is used in GIST with favorable results. Carcinoid tumor. The term carcinoids was coined by Oberndorfer in 1907. Carcinoid tumors are neuroendocrine tumors arising from enterochromaffin A cells, Kulczycki cells found in crypts of Lieberkühn, that are distributed throughout the body, which are the most common endocrine cells, identified in the submucosa of the intestine and bronchus. Regardless of their primary site, all carcinoids share histological, immunohistochemical, and ultrastructural features. These cells are capable of APUD, amine precursor uptake and decarboxylation, and can secrete vasoactive peptides. It commonly occurs in appendix, 45%, ileum, 25%, and rectum, 15%. Other, 15%, sites are other parts of GIT, including pancreas and biliary tract, bronchus and testis. In the ileum, it is almost always in the terminal 2 feet. Metastasis occurs in 3% of appendiceal carcinoid, 35% of ileum. 75% of carcinoids are less than 1 cm and 2% of them will spread. Carcinoid of 1–2 cm shows 50% chances of spread, more than 2 cm shows 85% chances to spread. 75% of carcinoids are asymptomatic and found incidentally. It secretes amines, 5-HT, 5-HIA, 5-HTP, 85%, histamine, and dopamine, tachykinins, kallikrein, substance P, neuropeptide K, peptides, chromogranins, 100%, pancreatic polypeptide, 40%, neurotensin, HCG alpha, HCG beta, motilin, prostaglandins. 10% of cases are associated with MEN syndrome type 1. Pathologically, it is smooth, firm, yellowish submucosal nodule seen in antimesenteric border of bowel with mesenteric nodal mass having desmoplastic reaction. Carcinoid in appendix is usually single, but commonly it causes luminal obstruction and so presents with features of appendicitis. Common site is at tip, distal 2/3 road. Small bowel carcinoids are multiple in 40% cases. In 50% of cases, other primary malignancy is observed like of breast and colon. Small bowel carcinoids, jejunoileel, less than 1 cm incidence, of nodal and liver spread is 20–30%. If it is 1 to 2 cm, nodal spread is 60–80% and spread to liver is 20%. If it is greater than 2 cm, nodal spread is more than 80% and spread to liver is 50%. Types of carcinoids. 1. Foregut carcinoids, bronchial, thymic, gastroduodenal, pancreatic, produce low levels of serotonin, but may secrete 5-HPT, 5-hydroxytryptophan, and ACTH. 2. Midgut carcinoids, jejunal, ileal, appendiceal, right colic, secretes high levels of serotonin. 3. Hindgut carcinoids, distal colon, rectum, rarely produce serotonin, but produce somatostatin and peptide YY. They present as submucosal nodules without ulcer. Hormonally inactive. For good carcinoids, argyrophilic cells can be stained with metallic silver only in the presence of reducing agent. Midgut carcinoids, argentaphan, stained with metallic silver without a reducing agent, and argyrophilic both hindgut carcinoids, do not stain with silver. Features of small bowel carcinoids. XX primary tumor is usually small, less than 1 cm. XX age, seen in 50 to 60 years. XX may be multicentric in small bowel. 40% XX may coexist with synchronous adenocarcinoma of small or large bowel. 10%. XX highest propensity to metastasize the liver to produce carcinoid syndrome. Clinical features. Most often asymptomatic, an incidental finding. May present with abdominal pain, features of intestinal obstruction, diarrhea. Hindgut carcinoids present with constipation, bleeding per rectum, rectal tenesmus. Once secondaries develop in the liver, which is yellowish, carcinoid syndrome develops. 10%, which is due to release of 5-HT, kinins, prostaglandins, histamine and indoles causing flushing, diarrhea, cyanosis, asthmatic attacks, hepatomegaly, cardiac lesion on right side. Attacks can be induced by alcohol. Investigations. Urine shows increased 5-hydroxyandolycetic acid, 5-HIAA, levels, normal value, 2 to 8 mg, 24 hours. 111 in octreotide scintigraphy to detect the tumor. CT scan is very useful for evaluation. I131 MIBG scan is also done. Plasma level of chromogranulin will be elevated in 80% of patients. Provocative tests using pentagastrin, calcium or epinephrine may be used. PET scan using 1C5-HTP and 18FL dopa isotopes when fused with CT scan will give the best image. With urine 5-HIA and serum chromogranin A, diagnosis will be accurate. Serum chromogranin A, CGA, is more sensitive tumor marker than HIAA as it is raised in all types like of bronchial, GIT, rectal. Treatment. If it is in the tip of the appendix, tip is common, appendicectomy and regular follow-up with urine 5-HIA is sufficient. Surgical treatment. XX appendix, tip, lesion less than 2 cm but not involving base, appendicectomy. Lesion more than 2 cm, involving base, right hemicolectomy. XX gastroduodenum, less than 1 cm, endoscopic resection more than 1 cm, subtotal gastrectomy, pancreaticoduodenectomy. XX small bowel lesion less than 1 cm, segmental resection more than 1 cm, radical resection with adjacent mesentery terminal ileum, right hemicolectomy. XX rectal lesion less than 1 cm, endoscopic resection 1 cm invasive, wide excision more than 1 cm, anterior resection. If it is in the base of appendix or appendicular lesion greater than 2 cm size or terminal ileum, right hemicolectomy is required. In small bowel, if the primary tumor is less than 1 cm, with no lymph nodes, then segmental intestinal resection and anastomosis is sufficient. Radical resection of bowel is necessary in case of large, multiple carcinoids, with involvement of lymph nodes. In liver secondaries, along with surgical debulking hepatic resection, hepatic artery ligation or embolization is tried. Medical treatment. Fig. 21.30, carcinoid of ileum. It often presents when liver, mainly symptomatic. XX long-acting somatostatin analog, octreotide can be given, 90% symptom palliation is achieved. XX slow-release formulation of octreotide, syndostatin LA, is also used. XX pasiritide is second-generation octreotide which has got wide somatostatin receptor inhibition action, 40-fold than octreotide, is said to be very effective. XX-ketanserin, to control diarrhea, cyproheptadine, ondansetron are also effective. XX-bevacizumab, angiogenesis factor, sunitinib, tyrosine kinase inhibitor, everolimus, mTOR inhibitor, are other agents tried. XX others, serotonin antagonists, antihistamines, alpha-methyl dopa, 5-fluorouracil. XX bromocriptine, streptozocin, doxorubicin, dacarbazine, 5-FU, methylsergid, diphenoxylate hydrochloride, interferon. XX radiolabeled somatostatin analog XX indium 111 labeled pentatriotide is also effective. Note: methisergid causes retroperitoneal fibrosis and so not used now. Anesthesia may precipitate carcinoid syndrome during surgical treatment. IV octreotide infusion 50 micrograms per hour with steroid and antihistamines are needed in such patients. Carcinoid syndrome. It occurs in 10% of carcinoid tumors. It is common in small bowel carcinoid, but can occur in other sites also: bronchus, pancreas, testis, ovary. It is the first-pass metabolism site, liver secondaries which cause the carcinoid syndrome. Carcinoids of ovary, testis and retroperitoneum bypass the first-pass metabolism in liver and so causes syndrome without liver secondaries. Rarely carcinoid syndrome develops in non-carcinoid malignant tumor and dermatomyositis. Syndrome is due to release of 5-HT, 5-HTP, histamine, dopamine, bradykinin, prostaglandin, kallikrein substance P. Presentations 3/4. Vasomotor, flushing 80%, is the commonest manifestations which may be short-lived, diffuse, erythematous involving face, neck and upper chest, longer, often permanent cyanotic violaceous flush with watery eyes, prolonged flush for 3 days affecting entire body with edema face and hypotension, red patchy flush seen in carcinoid stomach. GIT, diarrhea, 75%, is next common which is episodic, watery, explosive occurs after meals and is due to raised serotonin level. Hepatomegaly, 70%, is common. Cardiac, pulmonary stenosis, 90%, tricuspid insufficiency, 45%, tricuspid stenosis, 40%, are features of right valvular fibrosis due to serotonin. Bronchospasm, asthma, 25%, is due to serotonin and bradykinin. Diversion of dietary tryptophan causes malabsorption in pellagra. Symptoms are precipitated by intake of alcohol, cheese, chocolate and red wine. Severe bronchospasm, circulatory collapse, when not diagnosed can lead into carcinoid crisis. Treatment. Assessment by 5-HIA, and other methods mentioned above. IV octreotide infusion, management of circulatory failure effectively using critical care. Treatment of hepatic secondaries, embolization, chemotherapy, TACE, transarterial chemoembolization, hepatic artery ligation, radiofrequency ablation. Prognosis. Prognosis is very good for carcinoid of appendix. 5-year survival is 90% and commonly appendiceal carcinoid is identified incidentally. They are commonly in the tip or distal 2/3 road of the appendix. Nodal spread and liver spread is rare, 75% are less than 1 cm. Two histological types of carcinoid appendix are goblet cell and classical type. Goblet cell type carries poor prognosis. Small bowel carcinoid has got poorer prognosis compared to carcinoid of appendix. Prognosis depends on size of primary tumor, nodal spread, multicentricity, hepatic spread. Carcinoid has better prognosis than adenocarcinoma of small bowel. Short bowel syndrome, short gut syndrome, it is the symptom complex after massive small bowel resection, i.e. resection more than 70% of the bowel. Minimum bowel required is 1.2 meters. Proximal jejunal resection is better tolerated than distal ileal resection. Ileum is more adaptive and has got capacity to increase the absorption capacity more efficiently. So in massive resections, patients with retained ileum will do better. Adaptation is better if ileum and cecum is preserved. Causes: massive small bowel resection as in superior mesenteric artery ischemia. Multiple sequential resections. Recurrent Crohn's disease, common cause. Necrotizing enterocolitis in neonates and children. Intestinal atresia, midgut volvulus, radiation enteritis. Adaptive changes in the retained small bowel. XX will is hypertrophy and hyperplasia. XX increased absorptive surface. XX increased capacity of small bowel. XX lower transit time of bowel content. Factors deciding the outcome in short gut syndrome. Age. Infants tolerate massive resection better. Retaining ileocecal valve shows better outcome. Ileocecal resection interrupts the enterohepatic circulation of bile salts which in colon get metabolized into secondary bile salts. Secondary bile salts block the absorption of water and electrolytes. Delayed clearance of gastrin causes hyperacidity and peptic ulcer. Adaptability of the small bowel. Adaptation is better if ileum and cecum are preserved. Additional colectomy increases the morbidity. In such occasion retained jejunum will function as either of two ways. Net absorbers have adequate absorption of water and sodium, and usually will have more than 100 cm of retained jejunum. Net secretors have less than 100 cm of jejunum and lot of sodium and water are secreted into the lumen from plasma. These patients should avoid hypertonic solutions like water, tea, instead should take hypertonic saline with glucose containing 90 mmol sodium, L. WHO cholera fluid is ideal, contains 90 mmol sodium, L. B. Clinical features: XX diarrhea, severe malnutrition, XX fluid and electrolyte deficiency, XX recurrent bacterial enteritis. Outcome of short bowel syndrome: severe malabsorption, severe dehydration, gallstone formation due to altered bile metabolism, urinary calculi due to increased oxalate level, water and electrolyte imbalance. Diarrhea is common. Recurrent bacterial enteritis, fulminant hepatic failure often can occur. Osteomalacia, tetany, hypomagnesemia, bleeding diathesis, peripheral neuropathy. B. Massive bowel resection. XX resection of more than 200 cm of small bowel is called as massive resection. XX metabolic sequelae in massive resection depend on extent and anatomical site of resection, functional capacity and adaptation of the small or large bowel, cause for the resection. It causes gastrin hypersecretion, increased parietal cell mass in stomach, peptic ulceration, increased endocrine pancreatic secretion, hypoalbuminemia, edema. Resection of more than 100 cm of distal ileum causes diarrhea and steatorrhea. Steatorrhea is fecal fat greater than 6 gram per day, increases bile lithogenicity, causes deficiency of vitamins A, D, A, K. Colonic bacteria converts unabsorbed fatty acids and conjugated bile salts into hydroxy fatty acids and deconjugated bile salts. XX ileum maintains enterohepatic circulation of bile salts, absorption of vitamin B12 and vitamin D. Resection of middle part of small bowel is better tolerated. XX removal of ileocecal valve reduces the intestinal transit time, reduces absorption of vitamin B12, calcium, magnesium, zinc, increases diarrhea and contamination of short and small bowel by bacteria. XX in massive resection, colonic bacteria degrade fatty acids into lactate and short-chain fatty acids. Lactate reduces colonic pH which inhibits bacteroids. Due to this, acid-resistant anaerobes will increase in colon which produces large amount of D-lactate which is absorbed causing D-lactic acidosis presenting with confusion, ataxia and nystagmus. XXTPN was introduced by Dudrick. It is very useful in short gut syndrome. Treatment: early phase total parenteral nutrition. Fat and fiber-free but protein-rich liquid diet with essential fatty acids. Diarrhea is controlled by loperamide, codeine phosphate. Oral cholestyramine to bind bile salts is needed in massive resection which includes ileum. Parenteral vitamin B12 injection regularly. H2 antagonists, PPIs, somatostatin, to reduce secretions from stomach, liver and pancreas. Octreotide reduces the secretion and reduces G motility. Fluid and electrolyte management. Control of diarrhea. Late-phase enteral nutrition to stimulate intestinal adaptation. TPN supplement, often permanently required. Home parenteral nutrition is universally used method in Western countries. But in Asian countries it is yet not practicable. Hormones and glutamine administration are under trial. Surgical techniques to delay the intestinal transit time or small bowel transplantation are under trial but with less success. 3/4 Reversal of 10 cm intestinal segment to delay transit time. Intestinal lengthening to delay transit time and increase the absorption surface. Small bowel transplantation, ideal but graft rejection and failure is the problem. Antiperistaltic colonic interposition into the small bowel segment. Regeneration of intestinal mucosa over denuded serosa. Longitudinal splitting of the intestine and closing of these as separate tubes which are anastomosed to each other to achieve lengthening, Binacci's surgery. Mucosal stem transplantation using enterocytes without lymphoid tissue. Seeded mucosal autografts in a prosthetic tubes. Small bowel enema, enteroclysis, it is the contrast study of the small bowel by infusing contrast agent either high-density microber solution with methylcellulose or water-soluble iodine dye through Nolan intestinal tube. Indications: small bowel tumors, stricture small bowel, congenital anomalies, Crohn's disease, intestinal tuberculosis. Findings to look for: narrowing, filling defects, irregular, mass lesions. Problems: poor patient acceptance, technically difficult. Capsule endoscopy. It is a type of endoscopy wherein highly sensitive miniature video camera which after activation is swallowed by the patient. It is 26 mm times 11 mm in size. It weighs 4 grams. It contains single-use video camera with 6 light-emitting diodes, a lens, a color camera chip, 2 batteries, radio. Frequency transmitter with an antenna. Capsule takes 2 pictures per second which is transmitted to a WAN recording device through radio frequency. From the recording device data is downloaded to special computer. It is swallowed with 12 hours fasting. After activation it functions for 8 hours. It is mainly used to study small bowel diseases like vascular malformations, narrowing, tuberculosis, ulcers and tumors. This capsule camera sends signals and endopictures at regular intervals to the receiver, digital recorder, tied over the patient's waist. This receiver is later attached to specialized computer software to get different level pictures for study. Capsule gets deactivated in 8 hours and is passed out in the stool. It is available only at few centers and is costly. Capsule retention is the complication in 5% cases. It may not give proper evaluation in obstructive pathology and motility disorders of small bowel. Small bowel enteroscopy. It is a difficult technique done to visualize the small bowel. Indications: occult or obscure GI bleed. 5% of GI bleed is not diagnosed by any methods like gastroduodenoscopy, colonoscopy, contrast imaging. Angiodysplasia and ectasias are common causes for such type. Small bowel tumors, Crohn's disease, celiac disease, refractory sprue. HIV-related small bowel diseases. Intraoperative enteroscopes to assess lumen on table. Technique: push enteroscopy 3/4. It is easier and faster. It reaches 60 centimeters beyond the ligament of Treitz. Flexible enteroscopes or pediatric colonoscopes are used. Simethicone is given prior to enteroscopy. BT, CT, LFT and prothrombin time should be checked. Aspirin should be stopped 5 days prior if patient is taking it. Esophageal overtube is used to pass the enteroscopes through upper GI. Enteroscopes is passed through overtube into stomach, duodenum, and jejunum. Proper evaluation of the mucosa is done during withdrawal. If there is a bleeder point, it is fulgurated. Sonde enteroscopy. It is a 5 mm diameter, 275 cm enteroscope passed through nose by a piggyback technique with a pediatric colonoscope. Its two internal channels are for air inflation and for balloon inflation. Biopsy or working channel is not there. Scope is passed through pylorus and further it is moved with subsequent inflation of balloon and distal progression by peristalsis. Distal position is confirmed by fluoroscopy. It takes 6 hours to pass through the entire small bowel. Once it is in the terminal part of the small bowel is inflated with air and mucosa is inspected. Intraoperative enteroscopy: abdomen is opened. By a small enterotomy scope is passed into the lumen. It is guided manually by compression and release to visualize entire mucosa of small bowel. B. Complications and problems. XX epistaxis due to nasal irritation. XX perforation, pancreatitis. XX failure to pass enteroscopes is needed. XX time consuming and not acceptable by the patient. Enteric, gastrointestinal fistula. Enteric fistula is a challenging problem due to its high mortality of 30%, management of electrolyte imbalance, malnutrition, and sepsis. An enterocutaneous fistula is an abnormal communication between the mucosal epithelium of the intestine and skin surface. Classifications. Anatomical external. They are enterocutaneous fistulas which are discussed in detail here. 3/4. 75% of enterocutaneous fistulas are of postoperative cause due to disruption of the anastomotic site. 3/4. 25% are spontaneous due to malignancy, radiotherapy, inflammatory bowel disease, most common in spontaneous cause, diverticular disease and bowel ischemia. 70% of external fistula will close spontaneously. Internal 3/4. Most of the internal fistula need surgical correction, if they are symptomatic or causing complications. Etiological anastomotic disruption in postoperative period. Trauma to normal bowel, inadvertent enterotomy, injury. Disease of the bowel extending into the adjacent structures. Disease outside the bowel extending into the normal bowel. Depending on the site or a pharyngeal esophageal gastruct. Commonest cause is the site of gastrostomy tube, either with tube in situ or after tube removal. Other causes are postgastrectomy and anastomotic leak after surgery for carcinoma stomach, surgeries for benign gastric diseases, reflux diseases, and obesity. Duodenal. It occurs after surgery for pancreas, biliary system, duodenal stump leak, gastroduodenal anastomosis, renal, aortic, colonic surgeries. Spontaneous fistula occurs in Crohn's, ulcers, malignancy and trauma. It can be duodenal stump fistula which often closes spontaneously, lateral duodenal fistula which less commonly closes spontaneously. Small bowel. It is the commonest site of GI fistula. More than 75% are postoperative. Crohn's disease is the most common cause of spontaneous small bowel fistula, in which 50% each are internal and external. Colonic. It can be due to postappendicectomy, postcolonic surgeries. It is common after emergency surgeries, and surgeries in unprepared bowel. Appendicectomy in acute phase of Crohn's may cause fistula due to adhesion of inflamed terminal ileum to abdominal wall wound, not from appendicular stump. Spontaneous fistula, even though rare, occurs in diverticulitis, malignancy, ulcerative colitis, radiation and pancreatitis. Fistula may be due to complete disruption of anastomotic site, partial disruption, lateral fistula with distal obstruction, fistula in stricture bowel. Fistula may be end fistula, lateral fistula. Fistula may be single, multiple. Fistula may be simple, complicated, if multiple tracts, tract with an abscess, communication to more sites or more than one viscous. Note: fistula of duration of more than 3 months is called as chronic fistula. Physiological, based on quantity of daily output. High output, greater than 500 milliliters per day, usually small bowel, 50% mortality, less chance of spontaneous closure. Moderate output, 200 to 500 milliliter per day, colonic and small bowel mixed. Low output, less than 200 milliliters per day, colonic, mortality is 15%, more chance of spontaneous closure. Fistula may be end fistula, lateral. Fistula stoma categories. Category 1, a single orifice fistula through an intact abdominal wall or healed scar with normal skin adjacent. Category 2, single or multiple fistulas passing through abdominal wall close to bony part or umbilicus or surgical scar. Category 3, fistula through a small dehiscence through the main wound. Category 4, fistula through a large dehiscence through main wound or dehiscence at the bottom of wound. Fistula may be favorable site, oropharyngeal, esophageal, duodenal stump, pancreaticobiliary, jejunal, colonic. Cause, postoperative, appendicitis, diverticulitis. Low output, absence of sepsis, transferrin level more than 200 mg per deciliter. Healthy adjacent tissues with intestinal continuity, without distal obstruction. Fistula tract more than 2 cm, bowel wall defect less than 1 square centimeter. Unfavorable site, gastric, lateral duodenal, ileal. Cause, malignancy, inflammatory bowel disease. High output, poor nutrition, sepsis, transferrin less than 200 mg per deciliter. Diseased adjacent bowel, presence of distal obstruction, large abscess, complete bowel disruption, radiation. Tract less than 1 cm, bowel wall defect greater than 1 square centimeter. Tract epithelialization, presence of foreign body. Factors precipitating the fistula formation. Patient factors: anemia, malnutrition, sepsis, hypotension, hypothermia, poor oxygen saturation, associated respiratory. Diseases, failure, emergency surgeries, specific diseases like malignancy, Crohn's, tuberculosis, adhesions. Technical factors. To reduce the chances of fistula formation, technical care is essential, like proper mobilization, meticulous dissection, tension-free anastomosis, proper secure anastomosis. Most important is proper blood supply at the bowel cut edges. Care to avoid cautery injury, as bowel is very sensitive to heat. Cautery injury, proper prior preparation of patient and bowel. Problems with AB. Figs. 21.37a. Intercutaneous fistulas. Skin excoriation, electrolyte imbalance, severe malnutrition, recurrent sepsis, locally and systemic like pneumonia, candida, varicella. Pellagra, osteomalacia, zinc deficiency. Factors which prevent spontaneous closure of fistula. Distal obstruction, foreign body in the tract, abscess in the tract, infection, definitive disease like carcinoma, Crohn's, tuberculosis. Epithelialization of the tract, anemia, hypoalbuminemia, 2.5 grams per deciliter. Complete disruption of anastomotic site. Management of fistula A. Phase 1 resuscitation and restoration of volume with crystalloids and colloids, blood transfusion to achieve hematocrit of 30%, maintenance of albumin level at 3.0 gm per deciliter with albumin infusion. Sepsis control with antibiotics, percutaneous drainage of abscess under guidance or open drainage. BC. Figs. Skin care to prevent excoriation using Carya powder, zinc oxide cream, powder, ion exchange resins, stoma adhesive and controlled fistular drainage using sump-constructed suction catheter drain system or vacuum-assisted closure, VAC system or silicone barrier or created inverted cone system. Reduction of output of fistula, proton pump inhibitors, histamine antagonists, cycralfate, octreotide, infliximab in fistula in Crohn's patients. Long-term nasogastric aspiration should be avoided. Nutrition. Nutritional status should be assessed by clinical, weight, anthropometry, biochemical methods. 30 kcal. Kilogram per day. 1.5 grams per kilogram per day of protein is the basic need. Initially TPN is used. Once patient tolerates oral, enteral feeding should be started ideally. Enteral feeding, oral, gastrostomy, jejunostomy, is contraindicated in presence of distal obstruction. Enteral feeding reduces the sepsis, improves the bowel activity, caliber, thickness and ability to hold sutures. It also avoids TPN-related problems. Phase 2 investigations are done to assess fistula and its causes. It is done in 7 to 10 days of fistula formation. Fistulogram using water-soluble contrast, CT fistulogram to see the pathological anatomy of fistula, site, number, length, status of bowel, distal obstruction, presence of abscess cavity. Biochemical analysis, electrolytes, hematocrit and albumin, and renal, hepatic, respiratory, cardiac status should be assessed carefully. Phase 3 decision by observation and assessment, whether fistula will close spontaneously or not. Favorable fistulas are likely to close spontaneously but not unfavorable. Definitive procedure is done for fistula only after 6 weeks. Mortality and recurrence is higher if operated prior to 6 weeks due to obliterative peritonitis. 3/4. Definitive surgical procedure is lengthy, complex and teamwork. Optimum nutrition, proper planning, prophylactic antibiotics are needed. 3/4. Reopening should be done through a new distant often transverse incision. Bowel refunctionalization by freeing entire bowel from ligament of Treitz to rectum should be done to clear adhesions and obstructions in all areas of sepsis and abscesses. Sharp dissection using scissors should be done to clear adhesions. As much as possible bowel injury should be avoided. If occurs it should be closed transversely using interrupted 3/0 silk sutures. Resection of the bowel adjacent to fistula with track is the ideal procedure with end-to-end meticulous 2-layered closure using interrupted 3/0 silk sutures. When it is not possible, fistula area bypass, Roux-en-Y drainage, Serosal patch technique is used. Duodenal fistula is better managed by bypass using gastrojejunostomy and vagotomy without intervening the fistula. Proper irrigation of abdominal cavity with saline and antibiotics during procedure, or mental flap around the anastomosis. Various solutions to prevent repeat adhesions are also often done. Supportive jejunostomy may be added for enteral feeding. Abdominal wall closure is important by primary closure or by using myocutaneous flap. Mesh should not be used for closure as recurrent fistula may occur. Phase 4 treatment during recovery and healing time also should be adequate and optimum. Supplementing of nutrition, protein, vitamins and essential element are important. Physical, psychological therapy is needed. Important measures in enterocutaneous fistula. Sepsis control is an absolute need in all fistulas. Sepsis is the commonest cause of death in fistulas. Prevention or treatment of abdominal compartment syndrome should be remembered. Assessing the fistula type and anatomy, nutrition, skin care, fluid and electrolyte therapy are essential. Normally 7 liters of fluid is secreted into the GIT lumen in one day. It is absorbed in distal ileum and colon. Fistula output more than 1000 milliliters will need TPN and is unlikely to close spontaneously. Fistula output less than 500 milliliters is more likely to close spontaneously. Fluid should be restricted to 1500 milliliters, 24 hours with 1000 milliliters should be hypotonic content. PPI decreases gastric secretion. Loperamide, 4 mg kit, and codeine phosphate, 60 mg kit, is useful drug to reduce the output. Octreotide 200 UG TID subcutaneously for 48 hours is shown to decrease the pancreatic and small bowel secretion. Monitoring should be done by urine output, greater than 1 liter per day, urinary sodium more than 20 millimoles, liter, serum magnesium greater than 0.7 meters mole, liter. Proper nutrition, avoiding weight loss is important. Liver, renal functions, hematocrit should be assessed. Assessing the fistula as favorable and unfavorable is important. On page 883. Decision for surgical intervention and timing of surgery should be judicial. Usually surgical intervention when needed is done after 12 weeks. Surgery is done if fistula is not healing spontaneously or in high outer unfavorable fistula. It is resection of fistula tract with adjacent bowel and anastomosis or creation of stomas like ileostomy, gastrostomy, colostomy, depending on anatomical location of the fistula. In small bowel fistula, after excising the fistula tract with its adjacent skin, entire small bowel along its length should be mobilized after adhesiolysis. Restoration of normal continuity is the goal at a later period. Reconstruction of the abdominal defect is also equally important. Reconstruction of the abdominal wall is done by primary closure, or compartment separation technique, Ramirez, with use of biological mesh like decellularized collagen mesh is inlay or onlay. Initial vacuum-assisted dressings, packing are other options. Recurrence of fistula after proper therapy is 15 to 20%. Disruption, distal obstruction, specific causes, malnutrition, old age, immunosuppression are different causes.